So now,
Mm-hmm.
as a new business who's just starting out, what business would you like to be in? Would you like to be in the business of selling your product? Would you like to be in the business of customer service, fulfillment, shipping, packing? Would you like to be in the business of figuring out new ways to stay ahead of your competition? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's there's no way that as a new business you can be good at all of these things
That's right.
and make money. So, so that's why I
There's so
say
many things like
don't
that.
look at anything else. And but I don't mean that just stay on Amazon exclusively, but it's a carefully made decision. It
Mm-hmm.
has to be carefully made decision, and absolutely not at the beginning. Never launch at the same time, but launch on Amazon after a year and a half. That's when you can be looking at, am I ready? And the other thing that I say is, in the process, you develop the disciplines and the systems and the
Mm-hmm.
procedures, run an online business, because it's a totally different business. It's not touch feel, it's data. And it takes time to learn and adjust, right?
Absolutely. And people can look up when was this URL registered? They go, oh, it was registered 2 months ago. And now I'm going to send you $300 or $500 for some product. And I don't know about your return policy, but I can go
Yeah.
to Amazon and if it's there. And so the really a lot of times in sales and marketing, uh, the the answer isn't or, it's and, right? Do this and do that. And people
Yeah.
want choice, right? If you only sell your product on Amazon, there's you're limiting me. But
Yeah.
if you offer it on your website, I may not buy it there, but I want the choice. And this is one of those things that's really interesting about uh, uh, the human psyche, right? The way our brain works. So there was a gas station that was open from like 6 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, and they sold a certain amount of gas, right? And so the owner decided, I want to go 24 hours a day. And so they had to add a shift from 9 o'clock at night to 6 o'clock in the morning. So you hire more people and do all this stuff, right? Well, their gas sales went way up. Okay. Now you start tracking and you go, when did we sell that gas? Well, they sold it from 6 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. And they sold very little gas from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. But here's what happens. I think, oh, I need to get gas. And I go, oh, are they open? Do they close at 8? When do they? No, I don't have to think about it. They're open all the time. So I just go and I get my gas. But I'm going to go when it's convenient for me, which tends to be when their hours were open before. Right. So when you say, well, I'm going to advertise I'm only going to put my product at one time or on one place. That's like saying I'm only going to sell between these hours. But if you go 24 hours a day, you're going to sell more. So if I put it on Amazon and then I put it on my own website, I'm probably going to sell more, but they're probably going to be sold on Amazon and not on my website, even though
Yeah.
I'm doing advertising.
This is the classic uh, proof of perception is reality, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I have a similar story that I heard 25 years ago in a marketing conference from one of those very high level discussion workshops. So there were two candy stores across from each other on a street, and both stores were run by two ladies. And as yet, one store would be always full of kids, the other one would be empty. So they couldn't figure this out. It's the same kind of setup,
Mm-hmm.
same candy, same street, different sides. One is full, the other is empty. So so they start interviewing the kids.
Hmm.
Why do you prefer this store, not the other one? They sell the same thing. And the kid said, yeah, it's the same candy, but the lady in the good store, and they called it a good store. The other one was a bad store. They said, the lady in the good store always gives us more candy. The
Mm.
lady in the bad store always takes away candy. They said, this doesn't make any sense. So we're going to go observe exactly what's going on. So what
Hmm.
was happening was this. So the kids were lining up and saying, okay, can I have 50 cents worth of candy? And of course, 50 cents is half a pound or whatever, the equivalent. So the lady in the good store was putting a small heap of candy on the scale. And of course, it was less than it should be. So she was adding to make up the weight
Hmm.
and then handing it over to the kid. The lady in the bad store was putting a big heap on the scale,
Ah,
taking away.
Nick, that's a beautiful story, and I'm going to be using that. I'm gonna I'm
Of
gonna
course.
I'm gonna steal that, but I will give you credit for that, because that is such a great example of the outcome was the same, but the process, right, made it enjoyable for the children as they watched her put more and more
Yeah,
of
yeah.
what they were expecting, right? Well, oh,
The
that's just beautiful.
perception
Yeah.
is reality. It's how people see it, and this often is also, especially for men. You know, men are more mission driven,
Hmm. Hmm.
oriented. We don't really think about feelings so much. So when you are doing something or saying something, somebody says, "Oh, but why don't you do it this way and that way and whatever?" And our response is usually, "But it's okay, I can manage it." Well, it's not about you being able to manage things. It's about how does it make the people around you feel.
I'll tell you another story. I'll tell you a story from when I was in high school, and I was working for a local newspaper in their customer service department. So the newspaper would get delivered, and or get not get delivered, right? So people would, and they call the customer service department, and that was me. So I was processing payments and so forth, and people would call up and they say, hey, uh, I didn't receive my paper today. And there was two processes that I could follow. One of them was I can give them a credit back for the newspaper, apologize and say, well, we'll credit you back. Uh, or we'd have them deliver a paper special delivered to them that afternoon, right? So sorry you missed your paper. We'll get that one to you today. Well, I'm in high school and I'm answering these phone calls,